Hello, welcome. My name is Manuel from Kata Studio. Today we're going to learn how to create a link in bios page like this, a simple link in bios page for your client's website. Now, the essence of a link in bio is it makes it easy for your client to put all of the link they need that is important in just one place. And the most important part of this is it makes things more seamless and on brand. So instead of using platforms like Linktree or Mainstack or stuff like that to create Linktree that still will have the logo of that particular brand beneath it, it's best you use your brand, your client's website, and then use a page, create a link tree like this, beautiful as so, and make it responsive, adding the link as much as they want and keeping it on brand. I hope you get. So this link is to be used on Instagram or Facebook or anywhere they want to just post just a singular link where people can come in, check up stuffs, book an appointment. See, when they click on book an appointment, they can get things straight because this is well integrated inside of the system. But you can't just do this particular option now, pop-up option in Linktree or any other platform because they don't have integration with your own website. But since you are doing it in your own website, you can apply any integration, styling, and any form of in any form of way you want to do it. Okay, so this is another example of a link in bio from another website. See, they have their name at the top and then the detail. We are going to be doing something a little bit different from this and this today. So first thing, when you load in a page, create a page like you created a bios page. Okay, first thing you need to do is, in most cases, some persons wouldn't like their header to appear and their footer to appear. They just need the link to appear, then you can get to the website from there. But this one, I allowed the header and I also allowed the footer to appear. It depends on your preference. But for today, we are going to be keeping it clean and we will not be allowing the header and the footer to appear. So to do that, we are using Elementor Pro actually. So you know the tool we are using to achieve this. You can actually achieve this in any tool, Oxygen Builder, Breezy Builder, Breakdance, whatever tool you want to do, but it's still the same formula. So what you need to do is click on this settings option and hide the title. That's the first thing you do, hide the title. And the next thing you need to do is to get over to the page layout from here. Let me zoom more closely. Click on it and click on Elementor Canva. This will disable the header and the footer from showing up in that page. So this is another way to condition that page to not show a header or footer at all. So now we are done with that. We need to toss in our section, which is the first thing we do. After the section, we select on the section, do a basic settings, which is the content width. We want to make it a full width. Then over here, we want to justify the content to be centered, and I want to also align it to be in the middle. Okay, so when you click on the plus button, we are going to be adding a container over here. Okay, so first off, I would like us to select on this section and go to advanced or go over to layout, and from layout click on this mean height and enable the VH. VH means view height. So we set this at 100% so that it can stack from the top to the bottom of any of the page that it is visited in. So we have the content, which is section at the middle, and we have the section guiding everything at the other part. So now it's time for us to start tossing in the stuffs we want inside of the platform. So first, you see, we have content here describing the title of the brand. If it is the logo you want to use, you can use the logo. Then you can also put in some other buttons, which we are going to be duplicating. And finally, we put the social media buttons, and that is it. Okay. So for this, let's do it in a way that will be more subtle. Okay, we are going to be adding a container inside of this one. Okay, and that container, we want to reduce the width to about 60% or 50%, something between that. Not that width, we want to make it full width, because if you are reducing this width, it's reducing the content you are putting inside of it. So we want to make it a full width reduction, and we pull it down to about 60% is okay. Okay, 50% is fine. Okay, now you see this is left aligned because we have to select on this one and do the same thing we did to the section, middle aligned and center aligned. So we are good to go with that. First, we need to add a background color if we want to. Let's just pick one beautiful background color from here. I think I like this one. Then we can curve the edge a little if we want to. Curve it just a tiny little. Usually add a solid border background. Just call it 1, and we add the same color, but this time around making it a little bit thicker. So you start seeing what we are doing when we start adding content. So the first thing we need to do is, okay, next thing, let's add a border around this content. So we add a border, a padding all around it, a padding of 40 all around. So now we are done with that. The first thing we need to add in here is the image element. So in the image element, we need to do some styling. But before we get to styling, let's add in the image we want to use. In this case, I will suggest you use 1.1 image or 2.2 image. What this means is you use square images, images that are square, not rectangular images like this. Like this particular one over here is rectangular. So I'm going to choose a square image and show you what square simply means. Let me sort for a square image like this. This circle image is also a square image because it is in that particular range. The frame size, as you can see from here, is 300 times 300. But when we select on this one, it's 1499 times 919. So it's either 1499 times 1499. That is a square. Okay. So I just want you to understand that there are other lessons I've thought about how to resize images or optimizing images and all of that. So we're just going to pick one of the image. Possibly, let's pick this beautiful lady from here, and I think she will make for the owner. So we have that size. The next thing we need to do, go to size and make sure it is on full. Go over to styling. In the width, make sure this is 100%. Okay, don't worry about the rest. Go to advanced, then from here, go to default and make sure this is on custom. On custom, you can now adjust the size of the image to whatever you want. After you're done, go back to styling and under border radius, make sure you stretch this down till you get this perfect circle size. Select on this element, make sure everything is in the middle, center aligned and in the middle. We are good to go. So we are done with the first one, which is the image content we want. We can also put a border around it. Select on this solid and make the border around 3. And then we put the color which we want. Maybe this color or something better than that. Something close to the brand color. That is okay. Also reduce opacity a little so that it can shine. Think like that. Increase the size a little. And we are good to go. Perfect. So we are done with the image. The next thing we need to start adding now is the name of the brand. Okay, now this depends on the font type you are using. If you're using a specific font type for the brand, that's the font type you are going to flow with. Okay, so for this brand, I'm using a font called Playfair. Okay, and we can now write the name of the brand. Perfect. So we will now style the font the way we want. Make sure you add a size to the font so you won't select your size automatically. The color, we have to use the darker version because we want things to work well. Now, the space between these contents, I don't like it. So you have to adjust that space from gapping. Let's just give it a 10. I think this 10 is okay. Now let's start adding our button. Now you can do this in two ways. One, you can drop in a div, then make the div a link, then add the text as you want inside. But for this practice, I want it to be as simple as possible. So we'll be using the Elementor default button to do this. So drop this in. Did it drop in? It didn't. So let's drop it in again. Perfect. And in this particular button, let's just give the button a particular color so that we won't be confused about what is looking, how it's looking. So now in this one, we want to give it a little bit of spacing from this container, okay, so that it won't look like it's the same thing together. So go to advanced. In margin top, you're going to give it a little bit of space like this, and we are good to go. So our first button is ready, but we can do something here. Look at what we can do. Go to content, go to styling and stretch this to justify. Okay, justify this from here. When you click on justify, the image itself, this particular content will stretch itself to the end of this particular container padding limits. Okay, you know the padding limits we gave to it to stretch itself to that particular area, but you have to come back here and make it 100% from here. So when you set that size, when you justify it from here, come back here, make it 100%. I don't know if you remove the justification, if it's not going to work. You see, it only stretches the container guiding the button, which if we remove it to default, it adjusts it to the normal form. So you need to do it the two ways, justify this and then go down here and enable this to 100%. Now we don't want it to be 100%, we want it to be around 70% or so. Click on custom and then we can adjust it as the thing is in the middle. You get it? Now you can set whatever size you want for that. Now in the border radius, since our content is circled, we have to go to border radius and we have to round this up. That's it for that. Then go to content. No, let's go to styling. We have to add a little bit of padding and margin all around. So clear off the original padding and margin. At the top, we are going to be giving it a 20. At the bottom, we are going to be giving it a 20. And we are good to go. Forget about the left and right because we already used justification to align those contents the way they want. Is this size okay? I think it's okay. So the first button, we can decide what we want to add to it. Let's say we call this visit our website. And the font, we have to make sure the font matches with the secondary font we are using for the website, which is Poppins. Perfect. And the size of the font, make sure you say, whenever you put a text, make sure you set a size to the font. Okay, I think this size is okay. Let's make it a 400 thickness. I think it's fair enough. The color should match with the background. So let's go to the text color and select this particular one. Perfect. It's matching with the background we have here so that it will be more subtle to the eyes. If we just leave it at white, it doesn't make sense. So a little bit brownish makes a little more sense. So we will do all the styling we need to do for the first one, then we can duplicate it. We are not done. So we have to do a hover state. When somebody hover on it, let them know it is a button. So go over to hover. The text color can be what it is. But let's make the text color white. Then the button background color, let's make it a secondary button. Perfect. Perfect. See that? Very subtle. And border color, forget about the border color. We don't need all of that. Transition duration, you can set a transition duration so that it will be more subtle. You get that? If you increase transition duration, that one concern you. So we just reduce it to a little like this and we are good to go. So now we can now duplicate this. But look at the problem we are going to be facing. When we click and duplicate, it gives us the same space as it gives for this one above. What we need to do is select on this second one. We go over here and we have to reduce the spacing between those two contents to the size that we want. Okay. So the second one, we can rename it to what we want. Visit our store, because we want them to visit the website and also be able to visit the store. You can even put the store as the first one and the website as the second one, whichever one you want. You can type the store link. Okay, type the store link, shop link. I say the shop link, not store link. So the store, you add it. You can, if you have this thing store link as a button, you can just type it. The home, we have to do the same for the home. Just type in the home. It automatically populates the home. Then you select on it. We are done with the home and we are done with the shop. So we have to now duplicate. So click option, duplicate. Click option, duplicate. Click option, duplicate. So this could be for another page, maybe the other website. Visit our spa. Okay. And then this one can be possibly see our services. And mind you, don't put any social media here because we'll be creating a column for the social media. See our services. Perfect. And then the last one, you can just make it whatever you want to do. Okay, whatever you want to make it, you can make that. Remember to also add your links. So we are good to go with the links we have. This is the basic link. As what we have here, we are coming up gradually. So the next is now to style in these other parts. So for this one, we can now decide whether we want to put I don't like the padding bottom of this particular section. So the padding bottom should be wider, higher than the padding top. So clear off this while we are still maintaining the padding around. So go to the bottom part and increase the padding bottom a little more. Even the padding top a little more, and we are good to go. Perfect. So here is where we add in our buttons for social media, the social media icons. But we can do this in multiple ways, like to put a little bit of styling. You can add a line divider. So put a divider in between that particular space, and the divider is going to have a padding, a margin top that will separate it from that content. And divider width, I think let's make the divider width. Okay, let's go to control and adjust the divider width to match with what we want. You see, we are still having the same problem with the divider, so we center the content over here, then reduce it a little more. Perfect. Then the divider color is too harsh, so we are going to reduce. Let's test this color. This color is not good. Let's take the lighter version of the green. I think that's fair enough. Okay, you can also do the divider thickness from here if you want to increase thickness to whatever you want, but let's just keep it very subtle at 1. I think that's fair enough. So now we can start. Let's still add a divider border padding, bottom margin. Fine. So now let's add our social icons. So we use the social icon, which is still a default Elementor icon. So we added our social icon. Now let's style things a little more. So for this one, we select on it. We make sure that there are many ways to style this. You can leave it to be the social media icon like this. The colors of the social media, like Facebook is blue, Instagram is sky blue, and YouTube is red. But we want to keep everything on brand. So if you click on this, you're going to see an option here to use official color or a custom color. You can decide to use official color and custom color for specific icons separately, or you can decide to use custom color for all of them at the same time. So you click on this, then you click on custom color, and then we can start setting our color. So the primary color, what do we want it to be? Want the color to be the dark color, and the secondary color, which is the icon itself, want it to be the secondary color, which is the background color. You can further come in here and darken it a little more if we want to. Okay, and we are good to go. So we want it to be the border area to be circle. Since all our content are circle, you still do the same thing with the border radius. Okay, circle it, and then when somebody hover on it, what do you want it to do? You do that from this particular angle. But let's fix these ones first. So there is the size, where you control the size of the icon the way you want them to be. Here is the padding, where you adjust the padding all around the icon, in between, all around the circle guiding the icon itself. In between them, you know what padding is. Okay, here is the spacing between contents, between those elements, one after the other. Then here is the row gap, but we don't have a row because row means we have a separate content all around. The same content, maybe you have about 6, 2 at the top and 3 at the top, 3 at the column at the top and 3 at the bottom, which makes it 2 row. But we don't have that, so no need of making that settings. So the border type, we don't need any border here. Then in the hover state, we want the primary button this time around to be this particular color, and the secondary color button to be the secondary color. So you see what we get? Very subtle. See the same effect as we are getting from here. So make sure your stuffs look close to what you are doing as brand. So you want to add icons, link, like Facebook link, you can add those link from here and you are good to go. You can decide whether you want the link to open in another page from here, or you want it to actually open in this page. So once we are done with that, those are the basic things we need to do. What else can we do? I think this is fair enough. Next thing we need to do, we can add a background color if we want. A background color can make a lot of sense for link in bio, so to beautify, depending on the brand you're working for and what they are working, what you are doing for them. That's what they will define what you are going to be using as a background image. So we can either choose this, or let's go find something close to what we are dealing with. I think this is cool enough. This also is cool enough. Let's use this one. I love this. So we select this. See, we have we have that in the background. So in the image, you have to do small settings in it. It is on full width. Position, let it be centered. Attachment, leave that. Repeat, no repeat. Don't repeat anything. Click on option and set it to cover. Just see the settings I'm doing from here. Set to cover, everything now will stretch out and make more sense. That's not all. We go to background overlay, click on this color and set it to black. Okay, on the black styling, we can reduce or increase the opacity to what we want so that people can still see what is in the background. But let's try that, reducing that color of the background again. I think it's even getting fair. It's fair enough. It's fair enough. Perfect. We are good to go. So now watch very closely in case of you that might have multiple links to add for your clients. So for instance, we duplicate this and we duplicate this and we duplicate this again. You see, we are now having items cluster more than the height we give to it. Why? Because this one, we set it to have a specific size, which is the VH we set. If you know you'll be having content that is more than the VH, as you can see now, this is VH means the view height from the top of the browser to the bottom of the browser is more than it. See, we have to scroll down to see it. If you know you'll be having too much content than this, clear of this. Do not use a VH. Make sure this is on pixels. Okay, do not use VH. Then what you need to do here now is go to advanced and go to padding top. We have to add a padding top to this, a padding top to match. We have to add a padding bottom to this also. So now we scroll down, we have the spacing, enough spacing for content. But if you're having few content, you can use the VH. But either ways, you decide what you want to use. But the best practice, if you are still startup, use pixel. Don't use VH since you have not understand the system on how things work from there. So we save our work and then we preview our work from the front end to see how it looks. So that's pretty it for this lesson. If you click on this, you get to the website, to the store, to the spa services, and then you can see all services. This will lead you to the profile. So we actually missed something out on this. Let's inspect this on mobile and see how it looks. You see, it looks fair enough, but I will not be going in depth to do all of the responsiveness for all of the breakpoint, because this on default should be responsive because everything is centered. See, it's responsive, almost responsive, except for the fact that our buttons now is becoming a little bit wacky. One thing we can do is selecting on the container, guiding everything, and from that container we can go to I think, okay, this adjusted from this container itself. So select on this container, go to layout, and the width, we have to set this at percentage. The width, you have to increase the width a little more. Perfect. You see, it still adjusts the content because the content size in percentage is automatically adjusted based on the width of the container that is guiding it. Now we are done with that responsiveness. Go to the final responsive, which is the mobile. See, everything is scattered here. So we have to select on this particular text and make sure it is center aligned. This image is too small, so we have to go back to advanced, custom, and we set this to percentage and we increase the size a little more. Okay, I want this to be one line. Since I want this to be one line, we have to select on this container guiding everything and go to the padding and margin we give to all of them. We want to give all of them a padding and margin of just 20 for all. Okay, 20 for all. Let's check the bottom part. We have to adjust the bottom part. So the bottom, we have to give it a little bit of spacing and we are good to go. The top also, you have to give it a little bit of spacing. So you see, it automatically adjusts everything and the image becomes a little bigger now. So let's reduce that a little more. Okay. Then the size of this thing, we can now further adjust it if we want to. If you don't want to, if you are good with it, you are good to go. But if you want to adjust it, which I will still advise you do, you go to custom and make sure you adjust the size to what you want. I can say copy this and paste in all of this thing, but it will copy that particular style. So what you need to do is to do it for the second one alone. Watch very closely. So set it to percentage, do it for the second one alone. And now we have to click option and copy. Then we paste style and we paste the style. So we are done with the responsiveness. The icons are too large and the space between these stuffs is too much. So we have to adjust the spacing. So the top spacing a little, the bottom spacing a little, just a little. Then the icon size is too much. We use the icon size to what size that will work for us for mobile. And the spacing between those icon size is too much. We have to adjust the spacing a little more. Icon size, let's make it at 20. Perfect. We are good to go. You save our work. And that is it. Okay. So for those of us who would like to get this particular template, you want to use it without stressing yourself, just copy it, paste it in your client's page. Just modify some things, change the image and change the name and all of that. These are custom stuff. Everything here is done with Elementor, and you can even do this with Elementor free version because you don't need the header, you don't need the footer. If you need this, you will check the link in the description below. I'll be providing the link for that in the description below so you can go copy it. It's called linkin.bio. Just save it as I'll be saving this as a template. So you go down there, copy the template, save, import it. You know how to import a template. When you are in a new page, you want to import a template. All you need to do is to click on the this particular icon at the middle, this one. Okay, click on it. So when you download the template, click on that. Then you see this option at the top right. Okay, click on that. Then you see this option that says what? Select template. Click on it. Then select the template. Once you select on it, you enable it, save it. It will automatically import. You select it, and then it will automatically import it. That's how to import it. There is no big deal in importing pre-made templates. So I'll be making this available for everyone watching this video right now, so you can reuse it without stressing yourself that much. But try this out and see how it works, how you can actually create something like this. Very simple. That is it for this video, guys. Make sure to drink enough water, hug your loved ones, and like this video. Till we meet again, my name is Manuel from Kata Studios.